Hey guys, Palki here. Welcome back to another voxlblade build showcase video. Today I'm going to be showcasing another healer build. This is a build I've been doing a lot of testing on since my last video I made. The healer build, that was a hybrid healer build, which focused on healing and damage. Since then I've transitioned to a purely healing focused build. This video is going to be a little bit longer than usual because I'm going to be doing a lot of explaining. However, I know that some of you are just here for the build and don't want to hear all that, so I'm going to be putting timestamps in the description as always. So there's going to be chapters in the video, and if you're just here for the build, you can just skip all the explanations and look at the build itself and the damage tests and the healing tests. So let's get right into it. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about why I'm switching from a hybrid build to a healing focused build. I'm not going to switch back to a hybrid build, and here's why. So the hybrid build, this slot, has been maxed for a while. Maxed in the sense that the handle and the blade are tier 4, the weapons, the armor is all fully upgraded, it's maxed, it's enchanted, and quest-wise, I've done every quest in the game that's available on this slot. So this slot is effectively completely maxed. There's nothing more I can do in terms of getting stronger or doing quests or anything like that. So what does this mean? I'm not going to be in the open world, right? So the number one reason, I'm not going to be really in the open world at all. I can level up to get a little bit stronger, but I'm not going to be grinding the open world just to level up. I'm just going to be doing dungeons. So because I'm not in the open world, I don't really have to be worrying about doing damage. If I'm farming events or something, I'm not going to be on this slot, I'm going to be on a damage slot, because events are going to be way more efficient that way. So I'm not really going to be doing anything apart from dungeons because I'm maxed. Now, the second reason. Not everyone knows this, but you don't actually have to deal any damage to bosses in dungeons to get credit for the dungeon. The reason for this is because the reward you get from a dungeon is, calculated independently from the reward you get from the boss. So the reward you get, the main reward you get, is purely for beating the dungeon, for completing the dungeon. Now, there is a separate reward that is calculated from how much damage you do to the boss. You can get some extra cash and EXP if you deal a lot of damage to the boss, but that's going to be a negligible amount compared to how much you get for beating the dungeon. So there's no reason for me to be doing damage. And then the third reason, if I have to be doing damage in dungeons at all, something's wrong. I should never have to deal damage as a healer. If I do, then the DPS, the DPS users are not, doing their job. If they have to rely on the healer, but I pretty much never have issues with that in general. The DPS players are doing their jobs and allowing the healers to focus on healing. And then, in the open world, for the Cacti King and, Lord Stratos, those bosses you do have to deal damage to get credit on. So if you're going a healing focus build and you're for some reason farming Cacti King, you're probably not going to get credit on it, although, I don't know why you'd be farming Cacti King on a healer build. But, keep that in mind. But yeah, let's just get right into the build. So I'm just going to go through the build real quick for those who don't want to hear me explain everything. I'm going to be going through two builds, but this is the first one. So Enlightened Holy Ring, Enlightened Star Guardian Helmet, Enlightened Magic Missile Rune, 2 pieces of Corrupted Void Root Armor, and then for the guild it's going to be standard Church Guild race. The best race is going to be the Elf. For the weapon, I'm running the Angelwood handle and the Angel's blade. And then for what I have infused, it's 3 pieces of clerics armor. So that's the build. Let's do a little heal test real quick. So off the rune, it's going to be 11.1. From the weapon art, 57.1, which is pretty high. And then 56 from cure. And then let's do a little damage test as well. So, wow, it went up to 73 for a sec, which is not normal. But anyway, if you look at the DPS counter in the bottom left, it's hovering around 48.8. Wow, it's actually just not changing. Is it bugged? No. Wow. So I guess 48.8 is the sweet spot for the DPS on this build. But, you know, for this video's purposes, let's just say 45. I can almost one-shot a bunny. You know, if for some reason you have to kill mobs in the open world, you are going to be able to. You know, starter mobs you're going to have no problem with, but you know, if for some reason you're in the tundra, although I don't know why you'd be in the tundra, if for some reason you're in the tundra screwing around and you have to kill some mobs, you are going to be able to kill them. It's just going to take a while. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about, you know, why I'm going what I'm going for this build. So I'm only going one piece of Star Guardian, as you may notice. The reason why is because, as I mentioned in the other healing video, the Star Friendship perk that you get from Star Guardian pieces is, you know, the way it works is there's diminishing returns the more pieces you have. So you're going to get the most value out of the first piece, and then all subsequent pieces you're going to get less and less value the more pieces you have. Now it's fine to have 3 pieces. I think, you know, 2-3 pieces it's fine. 1 piece is also fine. Anything past 3 pieces it's just going to be unnecessary, because, you know, if you have 4, 5, 6 pieces of Star Friendship, you're really not going to be noticing the difference at all. It's just going to be negligible, so it's kind of just a waste. Obviously, this is self-explanatory. I'm going Corrupted Void Root because of its high holy boost. So I'm getting 211.5 holy boost off this build, which is pretty high. And then you get this nice little cursed bug perk from the Corrupted Void Root leggings, and chestplate, which has a chance to debuff enemies when you get hit. I explained this in the last video, but the reason why I'm going the Magic Missile rune is because of the Sacred Grounds perk. So this perk comes from my weapon, and it creates this little cross that heals whenever you use your rune, and this rune is going to be the lowest cooldown rune in the game. Combat roll rune is also going to have the same cooldown. However, you really don't want to be rolling every time you're trying to heal someone, so that's the reason why I'm using the Magic Missile rune. It's just going to be better than the heal rune, because the heal rune, the cooldown is ridiculously high, and, you know, for the heal it gives, it's just ridiculously high, and I don't know why the range is so small. It's just, you know, it's just not that effective. So this is going to be a lot better. You're going to see most healers using, you know, most holy healers are going to be using the Magic Missile rune to take advantage of Sacred Grounds, and then Enlightened Holy Ring, pretty self-explanatory. Now, for why I have clerics infused, you know, I could have infused Star Guardian, because with only 3 pieces of clerics, I'm only going to have 0.3 critical healing and obviously no lucky ring, so I'm not going to be critically healing often at all. But, you know, alternatively, I could infuse more Star Guardian. However, you know, if I infused full Star Guardian, I'd have 0.4 Star Friendship, which, you know, you're going to be getting some value out of it, but not a lot. And then the only other thing would be you're getting slightly more holy boost. You know, when you're talking about maxed pieces, you know, if I compare this enlightened, you know, maxed clerics piece to this maxed enlightened Star Guardian piece, there's a pretty big difference when it comes to holy boost. It's going to be a 7.2 difference. But, you know, when you take into account how infusers work, how they only take the base stats, so it's a level 0 unenchanted, the difference is going to be pretty much negligible. Considering that the stats, anything that's not a perk, is going to be halved, the difference between infusing a Star Guardian piece and a cleric's piece, in terms of holy boost, is only going to be a 2% difference. So if I had full Star Guardian infused as opposed to full clerics, there would only be a 6% increase in holy boost, which, you know, is going to be negligible. I'm not going to be critically healing often, but I still believe that it's going to be better than just infusing Star Guardian. And, you know, when I do critically heal, it's going to be nice to have. With 3 pieces of clerics, when I do critically heal, it's going to increase my healing by 50% exactly. So yeah, again, this is the build I'm running. I'm probably not going to deviate from it for a long time. However, there is a better build, I believe. and I'm going to explain why I'm not going this better build. But let's talk about the second build. So the second build is going to be, you know, same guild, church guild, same race, elf race, same weapon, angels for both blade and the handle, and then infusion is also going to be the same, 3-piece clerics, and then the armor and the ring is going to be different. So this build is going to be a critical healing build. Infused, of course, yeah, like I mentioned, it's going to be 3-piece clerics, and then you're going to be wearing full clerics. So it's going to be focused on critically healing. You're going to be wearing 6 pieces of clerics. I don't actually have a cleric's helmet right now because that's not the build I'm going, but I did do some testing with it, and you know, you're going to want to run a lucky ring with it. Now, because I don't have the full build, I'm not gonna show you a damage test or a heal test, but this build, I believe, is going to give you higher healing over time. Now, it is going to be more RNG based, but if you have 0.6 critical healing from 6 pieces of clerics, when you do critically heal, it's going to be double your normal heal, which is really big. I believe that, you know, because the critical healing chance is so small normally, and the increase you get from having more critical healing pieces is so low. If you want to go if you want to go a critical healing focused build, it's all or nothing. So you have to go full 6 pieces plus lucky ring. Now, from what I've observed, and I've also talked to a healer that was, you know, a full critical healing build. He was running 6 pieces of clerics with a lucky ring. He said that you're going to be critically healing about 50% of the time, which means it's a coin flip. Now, I mentioned for both builds, Elf Guild is going to be the best, because, you know, Elf Guild gives you a 40% cooldown reduction on your rune, which means you can spam your, you know, your rune heal more often. You can get more value out of Sacred Grounds. But unfortunately, my race is the High Elf, because, you know, when I first created this build, I thought High Elf was good. Now, it is still good, and you can argue that it's up to playstyle. With High Elf, you're gonna have, you know, more burst heals, and Elf, you're gonna have more consistent healing from being able to spam this. But overall, I think Elf is just gonna be better. Now, because I'm High Elf, you know, I don't want to redo this entire slot just because, you know, I don't have the optimal race. But because I don't have the optimal race, some of my power is taken out of my rune and put into my weapon art, if that makes any sense. So because of that, this is still going to be a high cooldown, even though it's my weapon art, you know, the weapon art cooldown is still going to be high, even though it's reduced. And I don't want to play an RNG build when my power is going to be put into a high cooldown ability, because, you know, if I lose the coin flip and I don't critically heal, then, you know, then I'm kind of screwed. You know, the healing is going to be, okay, 87.9 when I do critically heal, right? So if I do hit it, it's going to be great. But if I don't hit the critical heal, then the cooldown, the healing is going to be like 40 something, which is a lot less than normal. So, you know, for my purposes, I'm going my first build. But if you want the best, you know, in terms of highest healing per minute, I believe the critical healing build is going to be the best. But again, for the reasons I mentioned before, my build is just going to be the first build. But yeah, I mean, you saw how much I got from critical healing from the weapon art with that critical healing build. It would be even higher if I had that 6th piece. So, you know, when you do crit, you're gonna get extremely high heals. But since, you know, I can't spam as much as normal, and, you know, more of my power is put into my weapon art, I just don't want to play an RNG build and risk not hitting the critical heal, and then, you know, just having a lot of power taken out of the kit. But, you know, if I was in the proper... Is that an Iron Slayer? I think I heard an Iron Slayer. But yeah, I mean, in general, I do think that the second build is going to be better, and if I was in the correct brace, I think I would definitely opt for the critical healing build. Oh, there's an Iron Slayer. Wonder if I can get cred. Oh shit. Oh, I died. Is that guy just not gonna help me? Dude, I'm actually so bad at dodging. But I am sad. But yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to cover. Again, I'm gonna put in timestamps and whatnot. For those of you who don't want to listen to my long explanations. But yeah, that's gonna be all for this video. Hope you learned something. Hope you know, if you're going a healer, definitely suggest trying one of these builds. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Take care.